In today's gospel, we have the story of the calming of the storm at sea. In it, the apostles ask a pretty aggressive question: "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" Which, to be honest, is probably a question that I would ask. But after the storm is calm, Jesus has the fitting response of, "Why are you terrified? Do you not yet have faith?" When I was in Philadelphia, I was in a Bible study, and we were going through Mark, and I was struck by how human the apostles are portrayed. They are capable of great acts of conversion by dropping their nets and following Jesus and learning from him. But at the same time, they are constantly in disbelief that Jesus is who he says he is and can perform these miracles. By the time they're on this boat, the apostles have already seen a few miracles and heard Jesus speak, but they are still not at the point of trusting him completely. It's important to note that they do go to Jesus knowing that he can save them, but the fact that they almost attack him with the statement, "Do you not care?" shows that while they are reliant on Jesus, they do not yet trust him. In the novitiate, I came across this passage and decided I would pray with the image as long as it was relevant to me. I ended up praying with the scene for my entire novitiate year. Now, in my projection of the story, I was sitting watching Jesus sleep. I would feel the ship be tossed about in the storm, but I would refuse to wake him up. In many ways, it was a game of willpower for me. I was trying to prove to myself that I didn't need to ask for God's help, and if Jesus really cared about me, then he would intervene, provide my novitiate with some profound meaning, and calm the storm dramatically. But this never happened. Instead, I continued with my year, and after working through some of my anger of not being saved, I started paying more attention to these storms that I was experiencing. These squalls were all within me, and while they seemed to come out of nowhere, I eventually found they had their own patterns based on things as simple as what was happening in community and how much unused energy I had in the day. Eventually, I had the image that I was not in a large boat with all the apostles, but just one small boat with Jesus. And I wasn't so much in a storm, but was rocking the boat myself and refusing to be at peace. I wonder what would happen if the apostles had not woken Jesus up. On one hand, this great miracle helped to bring the apostles to understand the power of Jesus in their last question of, "Who is this whom even the wind and sea obey?" But on the other hand, if they had trusted that Jesus would intervene when needed, it could have been the sign of faith that Jesus asked from them. In the letter to the Hebrews, we heard that faith is the realization of what is hoped for and evidence of things not seen. The author is writing from the other end of the story of the apostles. At the time of the storm, their faith is not strong enough to even trust that Jesus will save them from this small squall. But when the author writes, the apostles have grown so much in faith that they bring thousands to the church and face persecution and death with confidence provided by their trust in the Lord. The apostles, like us, needed to be reminded that Christ is present to them. At all times, Jesus is there with us as one who can shift our lives dramatically from, say, a construction manager to a Capuchin friar, or more commonly, he is the one who is a silent presence offering peace in our lives if we are just willing to let him. All of us are on a journey of faith. Some days are better than others, but what we need to remember is that when we want to shout in prayer, "Do you not care?" then the immediate response should be, "Do you not yet have faith?" This faith for both the disciples and us is rooted in the Psalms. At this event, the disciples would remember Psalm 89, "Mighty Lord, your faithfulness surrounds you. You rule the raging sea, you still its swelling waves." Psalm 93, "More powerful than the roar of many waters, more powerful than the breakers of the sea, powerful in the heavens is the Lord." and Psalm 107, he hushed the storm to silence, the waves of the sea were stilled. With this support, we can know that the seemingly sleeping Jesus with us is none other than the incarnate Son of God. Amen.